This is why the central banks are buying the hell out of gold, using the suppression of the Western market to run cover for it. And more importantly, this is why just in a simple Google search, 30 central banks have repatriated their gold within the last 2 years. And there's a lot more because they know they can hold it within their own borders, remove counterparty risk, cut out the Western influence, the chance of weaponization or confiscation of assets, and have their own ecosystem that they will maintain with the ability to settle oil in this new unit. And I think it's the biggest thing I've seen maybe in my career if it plays out this way. But there's no other reason for the BIS to reclassify gold tier 1 and to tell all of these central banks quietly, buy it and bring it home.
The US dollar's decline in purchasing power has become a growing concern for economists and investors, particularly as inflation surges. Over the past century, the dollar has lost significant value due to the Federal Reserve's expansionary policies and low interest rates to boost government spending and stabilize the economy. This erosion of value raises questions about the dollar's long-term stability, especially with the rise of Project mBridge. Launched in 2021, Project mBridge is a collaborative effort between the Bank for International Settlements and central banks from China, Hong Kong, Thailand, and the UAE. The initiative aims to revolutionize cross-border transfers using Central Bank Digital Currencies, CBDCs. By bypassing the traditional SWIFT system, mBridge enables faster and more cost-effective transactions. The platform allows countries to trade CBDCs directly, marking a significant shift in global trade dynamics. This move away from the dollar is evident in deals like Iran's $2 billion oil for services contract with China, which was paid in oil rather than dollars. A significant development occurred in June 2024 when Saudi Arabia joined Project mBridge, suggesting the potential rise of a petro-yuan. With China as Saudi Arabia's largest oil customer, using China's digital yuan for oil transactions could lead to oil being traded in yuan instead of dollars, signaling a major shift in global trade practices. Andy Schectman, CEO of Miles Franklin, sees Project mBridge as a significant development in global finance. As Project mBridge expands, its impact on the global financial system is substantial. The BIS, influential in global financial reforms, played a key role in this transformation. Its 2019 decision to elevate gold to a Tier 1 reserve asset led to increased central bank gold reserves, a persisting trend. The development of the unit token, backed by gold and BRICS plus currencies, represents a realignment of global financial power. With more countries adopting digital currencies, the US dollar's dominance in international trade may gradually fade. Before diving into Andy Schectman's insights, subscribe and turn on notifications to stay updated with all our latest content. Thanks for watching and enjoy the video.
There was a big meeting that happened that coincided with the G7 meeting in Italy just a few weeks ago. At the beginning of the year, we were told that there would be 200 BRICS meetings leading up to the one big one in October where we find out all the new things that the BRICS have agreed upon, including which countries have joined. This meeting in Novograd, Russia, was the same week as the G7 meeting, and the Royal Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia was invited to the G7 meeting. And they turned it down, said, I'm busy, guys. But he sent his finance ministers to the meeting in Novograd. Now, remember what I said about the BIS. I believe they told all these central banks 2.5, 3 years in advance, get your gold home and start buying it. We're going to reclassify it Tier 1. That isn't coincidental, the way that it all worked out. Out of nowhere, they massively buy and bring back their gold after years and years and years of it being held in the West. And then all of a sudden, it's revalued Tier 1. Well, let's talk about what happened at this meeting in Novograd. Two things that are worth talking about. Number one, they came out and said 59 countries have formally applied to BRICS. We don't know which ones they are. But number two was two meetings that were announced by Dilma Rousseff. Dilma was the former president of Brazil. She's the head of the BRICS New Development Bank. Call that very similar to the IMF. And she came out and said that I had 2 meetings on the sidelines with Sergei Glaziev and Putin. The reason that in probably 3,000 YouTube videos over the last 4 years that I have said that the BRICS will have a commodity-backed currency is because he said it. He is the architect of this new system. He is the Eurasian Economic Union chief economic advisor. He's high up in the Russian finance ministry, and he is the architect of this new system. And she said, we've agreed in principle to a new system called the unit that will be traded over Project mBridge. Now, the unit, she says, will be 40% gold. 40% gold, not a basket of commodities like Glaziev originally said. Probably too hard to value all of those individual commodities. But it will be 40% gold in kilobar form, deliverable upon request, and 60% BRICS plus local currencies. Now let's go back to the BIS and the way that they do things. A simple Google search will show you that within the last 2 years, Germany, Austria, Slovakia, Argentina, the Netherlands, Saudi Arabia just a few weeks ago, Hungary, Belgium, Egypt just a few weeks ago, Romania, Nigeria just a few weeks ago, Poland, Ghana, India bought 1.5 times the amount of gold they bought all of last year in the first 4 months of this year, brought it all home, plus 100 metric tons they've held at the Bank of England since 1991, brought it all home. Turkey, France, Serbia, Venezuela, Algeria, Cameroon, South Africa, just a few weeks ago, and many more, all brought their gold home. Now, why? Now, the conventional wisdom would be it's the weaponization of the treasury market, or the way that Venezuela didn't get their gold back from the Bank of England, right? Where is the trust in the Western system? It can be taken, right? That's the easy answer, but it's not the right one, in my opinion, because in reading the white paper of the unit, it says that the gold that will be used to make the unit token and the 60% basket of local BRICS currencies will all be put into escrow accounts to create the unit token within the borders of the countries that possess it. In other words, they don't all need to send their gold to Moscow or Beijing to a central unit. They will all be able to hold their own gold and their own basket of currencies of the local BRICS countries in an escrow account that will be independently and frequently audited with massive penalties for deviation from the protocol of the unit infrastructure.
A major development challenging the US dollar's dominance is the emergence of a new settlement token called the unit. This token signifies a significant shift in global financial systems. According to Andy Schectman, the unit is set to revolutionize international trade and finance by being backed by a blend of gold and currencies from BRICS plus nations. Central banks in BRICS countries are now advised to repatriate their gold reserves, keeping them within their borders. This strategy is designed to reduce reliance on US dollars and treasury securities, which have traditionally been central to global trade and reserve systems. With its proposed 40% gold backing and additional support from BRICS plus currencies, the unit token aims to offer a robust alternative to the dollar, potentially lessening the dependence on dollar-based financial structures. China and Russia are anticipated to play significant roles in backing this token with gold. These reserves will be held in escrow accounts within participating countries and independently audited to maintain transparency. The goal is to establish a new financial network where countries can trade using their digital currencies, like the digital yuan or ruble, while circumventing traditional Western intermediaries such as SWIFT. This shift could redefine how international transactions are conducted, further challenging the supremacy of the US dollar.
I think the BIS said, here's our new settlement token for the BRICS. You guys all want to bring your gold home because you're going to hold it within your own borders, which will eviscerate the demand for US dollar stockpiling and eviscerate the demand for US Treasury stockpiling. Instead, they will all accumulate their local currencies and others. And this is why in a video I did with Vince Lancy, he thinks that China and Russia will back their currencies by gold so that they comprise the majority of the 60% backing in the currency portion of the unit tokens. But the currency and the gold is held in an escrow account within their own borders and audited independently. So the BIS probably said to all of these countries, get your gold home, you guys, and keep buying it. The central banks are buying it hand over fist, and all we see is repatriation. So mBridge will allow all of these countries to maintain their own ecosystem in central bank digital currencies. If you take all the global GDP and give it a percentage of 98%, or the countries that make 98% of the global GDP, every one of them has a central bank digital currency either operational or in development, near operation. So all of these countries will have their own monetary autonomy, their own central bank digital currencies, like the digital yuan, the digital ruble, the digital real. There won't be a central common BRICS currency, but a central settlement currency. Everyone has their own central bank digital currency that will trade over mBridge to buy things with all of these other currencies, with all of these other countries, free from the Western intermediary bank or the SWIFT. And if indeed it comes to settling for things like energy, they will use the new token called the unit, which Dilma Rousseff said, we have agreed in principle to doing this, 40% gold backing and deliverable upon request. They have scheduled a meeting in China in September to ratify it with potential of bringing it out in October. I will just simply say this to you. If indeed this happens, the fuse has been lit just like that. We've lost the hegemony already as oil sales are being done in other currencies, in Saudi Arabia not signing the re-exclusive deal that they've had in place for 50 years, saying we're going to trade in all currencies, dollars included. But the supremacy, that fuse will be lit if they come out and say, we have agreed on a new settlement currency for oil and it is called, or energy, it is called the unit, gold backed and BRICS plus currency backed. The need for these countries to continue to hold dollars and or treasuries dies that day. And that becomes the moment where things start to rapidly accelerate. So it's as big of a deal as anything I've ever seen. And the lack of talking about it, the lack of any Western media discussion of it is criminal, in my opinion. Now, granted, nothing has been decided. But when you have the former president of Brazil and the head of the BRICS New Development Bank with Sergei Glaziev and Putin, who said we've agreed in principle, I believe it, because everything else that they have said that I've reported on for 4 years, it's all come true. This will come true too. This is why the central banks are buying the hell out of gold, using the suppression of the Western market to run cover for it. And more importantly, this is why just in a simple Google search, 30 central banks have repatriated their gold within the last 2 years. And there's a lot more because they know they can hold it within their own borders, remove counterparty risk, cut out the Western influence, cut out SWIFT, cut out the dollar, the chance of weaponization or confiscation of assets, and have their own ecosystem that they will maintain with the ability to settle oil in this new unit. And I think it's the biggest thing I've seen maybe in my career if it plays out this way. But there's no other reason for the BIS to reclassify gold tier 1 and to tell all of these central banks quietly, buy it and bring it home. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Follow the crumbs. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to see the crumbs they're laying at our feet.
As the global financial system shifts with de-dollarization and the rise of central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, the dollar's dominance is being challenged, and platforms like mBridge are emerging as key players. This evolving landscape will elevate gold's role as a stabilizing asset. As nations abandon dollar reliance and adopt new financial technologies, gold will likely see increased demand as a safe haven, offering stability and security amid economic uncertainty. Share your thoughts on Andy's analysis in the comment section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Until next time.